this very special gathering of the anti-war movement as we're about to take things up to another level. I'm also involved with one of the coordinators of the Golden Rule Peace Boat. If you haven't heard about the historic anti-nuclear sailboat, the Golden Rule, which 4 Quaker peace activists attempted to sail it from LA to the Marshall Islands in 1958 to interfere with U.S. nuclear testing in the atmosphere. They were stopped in Hawaii by the Coast Guard and arrested, but that mission was carried out by another boat, the Phoenix of Hiroshima, another American family that did sail into that test zone. They made worldwide news, brought a lot of attention to the dangers of all the radiation that was floating around the atmosphere at the time, and that helped build pressure for the 1963 Partial Test Ban Treaty that was signed by President Kennedy and the UK and the USSR. Anyway, long story short, this boat was discovered at the bottom of Humboldt Bay in 2010. And Veterans for Peace and other boat lovers in that community decided to rebuild it, to restore it. And for the last 3 years, it's once again been sailing up and down the West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, with a message of a nuclear-free future and a peaceful, sustainable world. And right now, we're very alarmed, of course, by the whole crisis over Korea, by the threat of nuclear war. And I would say, you know, if there's a silver lining, I'm kind of an optimistic person, I'm always looking for the silver lining. If there's a silver lining to this crisis in Korea, I can see 2 positive things. One, we're learning about the Korean War and all the incredible destruction that this country carried out against the Korean people and has not yet been addressed, and of course that war has not been ended. Secondly, it's brought to reminding the world that we still do face the risk of nuclear war. It's a very, very serious possibility, and so it's got people's attention, and it's got the attention also of the Golden Rule Committee and our crew. We got our captain here, Will Van Natta's over here, and we have just made a decision, a very momentous decision recently, that we're going to sail that boat across the Pacific. We're on our way, starting later this spring, to Hawaii, the Marshall Islands, Guam, Okinawa, Japan, and perhaps the Korean Peninsula. And that'll be a 3-4 year journey, very bold action, and we're making lots of friends across the Pacific who also, you know, want an end. They want to see nuclear weapons abolished altogether. Support for the UN Treaty to ban nuclear weapons, which passed in July, 122 to 1 in the General Assembly, and an end to the Korean War. And Veterans for Peace is calling for the U.S. government to engage in direct talks with North Korea to seek a peace treaty ending that war and pulling all the U.S. military forces out of the region. So that's what we're about. We're going to be around this weekend. We have a table. We got Peace and wonderful Peace newspaper, Peace in Our Times. It's going to be on that table. We have a new Golden Rule newsletter going to be there, and we'll be happy to talk to you about how you can get involved with Veterans of Peace and the Golden Rule Peace Boat. Thank you very much.